Who tell to me this mystery, how a tiny babe in a manger lay, could so many hearts to love persuade, this holy Son of Mary.
The voice of God calls us to awaken him. How will he find us when he comes?
Awake and ready.
And when he asks us to dedicate ourselves ever more perfectly to him, how will he find us?
Awake and ready.
Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
friend, beloved God,
friend, beloved God,
great masters,
great masters,
Jesus Christ,
Jesus Christ,
Babaji Krishna,
Babaji Krishna,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Swami Shri Yukteswar,
Swami Shri Yukteswar,
Paramahansa Yogananda,
Paramahansa Yogananda,
saints of all religions,
saints of all religions,
we humbly bow to you all.
we humbly bow to you all.
Open our hearts,
Open our hearts,
fill us with your love,
fill us with your love,
calm our restlessness,
calm our restlessness,
so that we might feel thee
so that we might feel thee
within and without,
within and without,
all around us,
all around us,
in everyone,
in everyone,
and in everything.
and in everything.
Make us your channels
Make us your channels
to share your blessing
to share your blessing
with everyone we meet.
with everyone we meet.
Om.
Om.
Peace.
Peace.
Amen.
Amen.
You can have a seat. We'll have a seat.
What is love? Is it only ours, or does love whisper in the flowers, flowers? Surely we children of this world could not love by our own powers. What is joy? Is it just a dream, or does joy laugh in every stream? Are the clouds mindless after all, or is joy on nature's theme? God is dead, so men say. Can't they see all life's his play? Not a church binds him as its own, not a creed makes him fully known. No. Foolish we, if we limit him, every atom is his throne. What is love? Is it only ours, or does love whisper in the flowers, flowers? Surely we children of this world could not love by our own powers. What is love? What is love? Is it love we touch in the flowers?
to meditate as we listen to these words from Affirmations for Self-Healing on our topic this week, God remembrance. To remember God means not only to think of him constantly, but to realize that finding him is an act of remembrance truly. For it is from him that we have come. When the clouds of delusion evaporate from our minds, what will be left is what was there always, hidden behind the clouds, the blazing sun of divine consciousness. One should not strain, nor reach outward mentally to think of God. Know that he has been yours always, nearer than your nearest thoughts and feelings, nearer than the very prayers you offer him. Think not merely about him, think to him. Share with him your passing feelings, your idlest fancy. Talk with him. Practice his presence. At first, perhaps for minutes a day, then for hours, and then all the time. Let's affirm together. I will live in the remembrance of what I am in truth.
I will live in the remembrance of what I am in truth.
Bliss infinite.
Bliss infinite.
Eternal love.
Eternal love.
I will live in the remembrance of what I am in truth.
I will live in the remembrance of what I am in truth.
Bliss infinite.
Bliss infinite.
Eternal love.
Eternal love.
In a whisper, I will live in the remembrance of what I am in truth. Bliss infinite. Eternal love. And now silently, I will live in the remembrance of what I am in truth. Bliss infinite. Eternal love. One more time mentally, broadcasting from the point between the eyebrows. I will live in the remembrance of what I am in truth. Bliss infinite. Eternal love. Pray with me silently. Lord, thou art always with me. Help me to feel behind my thoughts thy inspiration, behind my every emotion thy calm, all transforming love. Oh, peace. Good morning, friends. Good morning. And good morning to our friends joining us online. I think we all know each other, but in case someone online doesn't, I am Narayan, and this is my wife, Dharmadevi. And every week we share from Rays of the One Light these weekly commentaries on the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita. And this week's topic is, what was the star of Bethlehem? Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. Divine vision is the opposite of worldly sight. Divine vision sees God's presence behind all outward appearances. Worldly sight sees appearances merely coating even the blazing wisdom of a saint. A master to the worldly man is a human being with perhaps a slightly better attitude than the norm. The scriptures therefore strive to demonstrate how the divine consciousness, when openly active among men in the lives of great masters, must never be viewed as an expression of ordinary human consciousness. To seek the presence of divinity behind the life of a great master is to prepare oneself to recognize that same divinity also in lower manifestations until at last one beholds God everywhere. Thus it was that Paramahansa Yogananda, on observing his new disciple Swami Kriyananda struggling with the contrast between the Guru's human appearance and his inner divine reality, looked at him deeply one day and said, "If you only knew my consciousness."
The story of the birth of Jesus Christ contains an account in the Gospel of St. Matthew of the Star of Bethlehem. The wise men who sought Jesus in his manger said, "We have seen his star in the east. And lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was." This account was important, for it showed all mankind that Jesus was a divine incarnation and no ordinary man, that he brought divine consciousness to earth, even though he would play a human role among human beings, and that others too, by receiving him in their hearts, by receiving in their inner hearts, would acquire power, as the Bible puts it, to become the sons of God. The scriptures enjoin us to meditate on the lives of great souls, that way that we may discover our own latent spiritual greatness. As the Bhagavad Gita puts it in the 4th chapter, "Who knows the truth touching my births on earth and my divine work when he quits the flesh, puts on its load no more, falls no more down to earthly birth. To me he comes, dear prince." Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om, Om, Om.
Good morning from me.
Good morning.
I'd like to start by reading from Whispers from Eternity, Yogananda's prayer demands. This is a long one, but it seemed very relevant for today. I have sought to buy everything but thy plenty. I pray now, give me thyself. O God, let me not whine complainingly. Why hast thou yoked me to the heavy demands of flesh, to constant hunger, a slave to fatigue and earthly discomfort? I blame no businessman for being busy. Dost thou not keep the bee busy constantly? Dost thou not send rain to water the earth, which yields life-sustaining crops? If even the skies are darkened with clouds to sprinkle life down upon thirsty crops, who am I to complain so selfishly, so childishly, so uselessly? What about poor me? The master potter of life molded this clay ball of earth. He keeps it busy, ever whirling in its orbit, holding it ray-strung to the sun, around which it rotates in ceaseless rhythm. The cosmic potter busily forms by the trillions fragile vessels of flesh on his revolving wheel of life. The amoeba, the butterfly, the whippoorwill, the gigantic fiery-eyed bodies that wander on the vast tracts of space, growling their own variants of Om, all must do some aspect of his work. Even the fickle lightning in the sky must do its bit to help with the spraying of timely showers. O Lord of all life, thou art the busiest worker in creation, ever alert, noting the fall of every sparrow, attending to the slightest scratch of flesh, and plotting the course of each meteor. Thou dost produce everything out of thine unseen factory of creation. Thou art the maker and displayer of innumerable artifacts. Thou art also the divine salesman, selling health, mental electricity, and nuggets of wisdom to mankind. And, oh yes, thou dost make us pay for everything. We pay in the effort we must put forth to live hygienically and to acquire that food which will buy us good health. We pay coins of self-development for the power that lights the cozy cottage of our minds and we pay gold nuggets of devotion perchance to hold thee to us and ourselves to thee. We must give energy in one form or another for everything we receive. Only thou thyself art not for sale, though some people try to purchase thy favor. O priceless one, what value can be placed on thee? Yet thou givest thyself freely to us when we remind thee that we are thy children, heirs to thy all-encompassing kingdom, and part of thy own self. That is a long one, but a good one. So I wanted to say Happy Hanukkah. We are celebrating Hanukkah this evening, though we're born and raised Catholic. And half of the family that we're celebrating with is Catholic, and half is Jewish. And so we brought over our Hanukkah presents that are wrapped in Christmas paper and put them under the Christmas tree / Hanukkah bush. So we're looking forward to that. But I wanted to share with you because we went out shopping for our Hanukkah presents to the Grove. Some of you may know the Grove in West Hollywood. Busy outdoor mall, lovely, beautiful space, and it's always decorated so magically for the holidays. And so many people bring their dogs, so we brought Kali. We walked over from our house, which isn't too far away. And Kali, like many little dogs in a very busy environment, likes to kind of hug the sidewalk, so she stays out of the masses of people with big legs that could step on her. So we were walking her along, and this young woman had stepped to the side of the sidewalk to do something on her phone, which I thought was, wow, that's quite, thoughtful, instead of just walking into everything around her. So she had stepped off to the side, and Kali, I saw, was making a beeline for her because she was in her path. And so this young woman, not like a tiny, small, fragile-looking young woman, mind you, healthy, strong-looking young woman, and she's going away, and Kali just, runs right along in front of her, and she goes, "Ah!" And, I mean, worse than that she was just over the top, just, startled, and Kali just went right along, like nothing had happened, and I couldn't help it. I just looked at this woman like, I didn't tell you, Kali is this big, this big. She's a little itty bitty, though she is fierce, but so upon seeing this little tiny dog, ah! And I just looked like, really? She's a little tiny puppy. And you could see in her face that she was a little ashamed for having reacted so strongly to this little, maybe she thought it was a giant rat or something. But it was a funny exchange. So along those lines, this topic, what is the Star of Bethlehem? Well, I could just simply say it was that, the spiritual eye, and then sit down, but I don't think that would be all that fun for a Sunday service. So they were following the star of intuition at the point between the eyebrows. And how were they able to follow this star of intuition from far away? How did they get the intuition that this Christ child was born, who knows how many thousands and thousands of miles away, and to travel and find him in where no one would have found him? The king that was hunting him couldn't find him, but they found him. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I work on following my intuition. It doesn't get me very far, but definitely not to a manger with a Christ child. But I guess it does when it gets me to my meditation seat, though. So how they were able to do it was by calming the reactive process. And so I just wanted to share with you some holiday do's and don'ts, or you might call them Christmas yamas and niyamas. So there are 5 of each. And there are very many more that could replace these probably much better, but I'll share with you what came to me. Non-overspending. Sri Yukteswar said to be comfortable in your purse and content. He was talking about contentment, not, oh, I wish I had more so I could, even if wanting more is so that we can give more, to be content with what we have to offer. Non-worry, that's a big one, especially during the holidays. Like this young woman I was telling you about, we can get on edge with so many things coming up. We can worry about countless things that come up in our lives. And Yogananda, he offered us the counsel of going on a worry fast. And so a worry fast, very simply, is fasting from worry. So in the morning, he said to say from 7 to 9 a.m., I'm going on a worry fast. I will not worry. And to stick to that. And then at noon, say from noon until 1 o'clock, I will not worry about anything. I will cast all worry from my mind, go on a worry fast. And then again in the evening to do the same thing. And then to increase that so that all day we're on this worry fast. Which brings us to our next Christmas yama, non-overwhelm, which, oh good, I'm glad that one's funny. I didn't know if any of them would be funny. Non-overwhelm, which it goes really well together with non-worry, because worrying just leads us to overwhelm, but also just the vast amount of things that we have to do. We're all so busy. And that's why I wanted to read that Whispers, because it seemed to fit so well with, thinking of the infinite and making these trillions of galaxies every day. And what did Yogananda say? That when he was so overwhelmed with the scope of this work that he was starting in Los Angeles, that he retreated to Mexico, and the Divine Mother, like by the ear, drug him back to LA and said, if I can, take care of the entire galaxies and universe, then you can probably take care of this pinprick here that I've given you to do. So if we can think of it like that, and along those lines, because I think, at least for me, and I imagine for many of us, the answer is, well, that's God, or that was Master. And Master said in response to someone saying that to him, what do you think made me a master? So we all have to work towards that, and we do our part along the way. So non-overwhelmed, and it's when non-overwhelmed, it's, I really did think of this story of this young woman relating to this, because it's our nervous systems get so fried. We just push ourselves until we don't have anything left in the tank, and then it's like a little tiny push. I'm speaking for myself. Like our friend Frank would say, when I say you, I mean me. So, just that little press, and it's, what's going on? Because we're fried. So I'm going to get back to that in the Christmas niyamas, the do's. But before that, non-superficiality. I was thinking of this because, when shopping for our loved ones, we're shopping for a number of young people in our Hanukkah celebration, and I don't know what young people like. I mean, I'm talking like 15-year-olds, and I'm like, what do you want? I don't want to get you something that you go, oh, thanks, old person. So we came up with all making wish list. And I noticed for myself that I was like, okay, I'm going to actually be good. Because usually I'm like, just get me whatever. I don't care. Just get me something. Who cares? But it's like, I'm asking other people to do it. I have to go through this process myself. So I made a wish list. And like your sister-in-law, I made a very complete, big range of prices from like $5 to $100. So if they wanted to group up, then they could, get something bigger. And I realized then, I was like, I want to get what I put on my wish list. But it was interesting because suddenly I went from, I don't need anything, I don't want anything, to I have this huge wish list. But then I remembered what Yogananda said when he was giving out roses to the disciples, and he had different colored roses, and he gave one female disciple a red rose. He gave her a red rose, and she, taking the red rose, said, I love yellow roses. Could I have the yellow rose instead? And he said, what I give, you take. I imagine she took it at that. So the next one, non-separation, which I think we can get into in the holidays, of this feeling of just, it's so cozy. It's cold. It's LA, but it's still cold. No one believes us that it's cold, but it is. It really is. It's down to like 40 in the mornings these days. I don't know what's happening. But we want to be in front of our little fireplace or our little cozy couch or whatever it might be, with our blankies and just surrounded by our closest family and friends, right? It's a natural thing to happen in the winter solstice time of going more inward. And again, we're coming to this on the dues, but try, if you can, to expand your love so that it goes beyond those barriers of, this is my family, these are my close friends, these are my closest-ish friends, these are my associate-ish friends, and try to just feel we're all one big family having a human experience. We're all one big spirit having this experience together. So now getting to the dues, or the niyamas, attentiveness. And what this means to me is, people, even though we may make wish lists, we really just want love. We just want to feel love and to feel loved by others. And so if we can give that attentiveness, that love, that devotion to others, we'll also receive it ourselves. Seclusion, this is the one that I keep hinting at. Seclusion. So to take time, Yogananda said seclusion is the price of greatness. So to take at least a day, preferably a week or more, to just get out of the city, be in a still, uplifting environment where you can not just rest, not just shut off the world, but go deep in your spiritual life to feel God's presence within you. That's the greatest recharger. Our friend Drupada, who's a great Vedic astrologer, he said to me, you're going through this very long Saturn period, and Saturn can feel very confining and delayed and heavy. Saturn feels heavy and cold, which makes it even colder when it's cold. But he said, you're going to feel really tired during this period. And it's not going to matter how much you sleep. You're going to always feel tired. And the only thing that's going to help you is to go deeper in your sadhana, in your spiritual practice. And I keep going, well, I just definitely need more sleep. That's gotta be it. I'm sleep deprived. Nope, I can sleep all day. I've tried it. It doesn't work. But if I have a long, nice, solid meditation preceded by energization exercises and Mahamudra, I feel much, much better. I feel rejuvenated, recharged, and especially going on a seclusion, amazing what it does. It refills our battery. It's like the battery here in the city, there's nothing that's really, charging our battery of spiritual upliftment except coming to a place like this, being with spiritual friends. But the environment itself is a cancer. It is. It's draining on every level imaginable. That's why Master Yogananda was so strong about get out of the cities, get together, get land. And Swami that was his, the thrust of his mission was to share that aspect of Yogananda's teachings for spiritual community. But if you can't get out of the city, which not that we want any of you to go anywhere, but get out regularly so you can recharge, you can feel what it feels like to be in a natural environment. Sanity is there in nature, the natural rhythm of things. So very important. Enjoy pauses. That's another one, which is a beautiful Zen statement that I read, and enjoy the pauses between things. We tend to set our lives up that, one thing leads to the very next thing, to the very next thing. Think about just having a 5-minute pause from when you went to doing one thing to doing the next thing. Build in those little break periods in your day so that you can function more effectively and not get into overwhelm or worry or all the other things. Give selflessly. Another good quote from Sri Yukteswar: as long as you breathe the free air of the earth, you are under obligation, something like that, to render grateful service. I love that quote because it's even the air. We're breathing the air, and so because of that, because of everything that we take in that we don't even necessarily appreciate, we just expect it. It's there. It's there for me. Well, yes, it's there for us, but it's also there for us to serve, to give of ourselves selflessly to others. And the final one is realize the Christ consciousness within. And isn't that really the truest purpose of the holiday season, is to realize that star of intuition within ourselves, to realize the Christ is not anywhere outside of us. The Christ is within. And this spiritual eye is right within our own spines. We don't have to seek outside of us to find it. It's right within. It's the spine and the brain are the altars of God, because it's that divine light that's within each of us, the divine love that is within each of us, that is to be worshipped above anything, above everything. It's the divine within. The kingdom of God is within you. God bless you. Happy holidays.
Oh my God.